All right, boys, I've got no creative, fancy, clever, or interesting way to bring Jarret into this, so I'm just going to hand it over.
All right. Well, I guess I'll fill the void by letting you know what's coming out on home entertainment this week. And I
Let's
mean,
say
there's plenty of stuff, so we'll be able to fill all the dead air.
the only person who puts less effort into this segment than me is Glenn.
Which just as well that I'm bringing the goods. So, Cross of Iron, gentlemen, we know that 2 weeks ago we had the Studio Canal release drop, and I've seen a lot of talk now on the internet, particularly on Facebook, about people puzzled that there's two releases of the movie. Well, the imprint release from Viavision drops this week, and it's definitely worth the wait for the collectors that have held out. It's got the higher ticketed price, but it does have the additional Blu-ray, and it has an abundance of special feature content. There's not only that 35mm grindhouse print that I told you is on there, there's two additional interviews, there's 5 featurettes. These are all exclusive content. There's an audio commentary with a film scholar who's an expert on Sam Peckinpah. But this is the most valuable edition, and this is the one that Viavision and Imprint have undersold, and in fact haven't really formally announced. They've added it to the specs, but it actually contains 12 minutes of never seen before deleted scenes. So this is the first time that they've either been publicly made available, they're only recently discovered, and this is the only physical release in the world with these 12 minutes of deleted scenes, which is pretty extraordinary for a film of its vintage and for a real coup for Imprint to be able to include them. So it's a shame that they haven't been able to market that. I think they were so close to the release that, they just didn't put it out there. But if I were them, I'd be jumping on the social media and really pushing that, because that's a massive thing. No doubt some bastard out there will rip them and put them on YouTube at some point, because that's just the nature of these things. But regardless, it's a solid release, has all the content the Studio Canal release has, which is quite extensive, plus all of the aforementioned content as well. So if you have held out, this is the definitive release. And
I've got a copy coming to me, and I've been dying to revisit the movie because I love it. But now I'm torn about which version I should watch first.
No, you just got to watch the 4K presentation for sure. Like, I mean, look, the Grindhouse one's fun, but you want to see that film fully restored and revisit in the perfect quality the first time around. And then,
True.
I think the Grindhouse one would suit one of your late night viewing sort of parties you have at your joint, mate, where you're up at 2 a.m. and looking for something to put on, and that would just really fit the mood
Well,
of
that's how I'm going to
that
watch
time of
it
night.
for the first time.
Oh, hey, there you go. And how's the volume on that? Is Mel all right with you having the sound up? And
Yeah,
excellent,
just sleep through
excellent.
a freight train, mate.
Right. Well, I'm really excited to check it out, especially with that Dolby Vision as well. So it should look pretty spectacular. Now,
This is
another release that's come.
sorry. Before you move on, Joe, then this is going to be really interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see if collectors put their money where their mouths are, because obviously this version is far superior to the mediocre, shall we say, Studio Canal release.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see, in the numbers, who which one outsells, which one does the best.
I'm really curious. I'm not sure what the pressing amount for this is. I think it might be around the 1,500 units. So, I mean, it's not massive, and that's obviously going to cover domestic sales as well as international sales as well. But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot of people that'll cry poor and say, oh, I'm just going to have to get this edition because that other one's overpriced. And they don't appreciate the amount of work, money that's gone in to make this a really definitive release. I mean, I see that all the time, just regardless of the label, that people immediately go $50 for this, but they're the same people that are going, why can't we get releases as good as those in the States? And the fact is, the US releases often cost more anyway on import and are significantly less. Recently, all the Scream Factory repackages of Blu-rays they've released in the past that have, 4K transfers, they might have been existing 4K masters they've had. They're releasing 4K editions with no extra, content that wasn't on the Blu-ray. It's just an uptick in video quality. They're not doing new full like Atmos soundtracks or DTS. It's a pretty bare bones offering comparatively with what the Blu-ray was. And they are selling these things for like $50 to $60, Australian on import. And I can't justify some of them. I'm like, look, the Blu-ray looks plenty fine. I don't know if I need Motel Hell in 4K. Let's face it, I do need Motel Hell in 4K. But there is a lot of them, and I'm at odds, and I'm hoping some of them may go on sale around Halloween in the States. So, I can stock up on a few more. But yeah, I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see how those sales stack against one another. But on that point, Sam Peckinpah, there is another release coming out from Imprint this week, and it's the one that's not really getting spoken about enough. And I mean, it is, again, a pretty comprehensive edition with tons of content, including a feature-length doco that's exclusive to this release. And it's Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, and it's a 2-disc Blu-ray set loaded with special features. I won't go into all of them, but there's plenty on there, and it's an affordable price point too, because it's just a 2-disc Blu-ray. Probably set you back between $60 to $70.
That's
and it's
easily
another nice
easily my favorite of his films.
Oh, it's such a great. Well,
yeah,
mine's probably The Wild Bunch. I'd say. I'd like to say Straw Dogs, but honestly, it's a very hard film to watch.
It's a personal preference.
Absolutely, and I mean, he's got a tremendous catalog of films. But The Wild Bunch for me, I reckon, and I was really hoping that Warner might do. They're doing the 100 Years of Warner, might do a 4K of it this year, given that they've done 4Ks for fucking everything else, including, which I love, Vacation. But I mean, Wild Bunch not having a 4K is just. Yeah, it just blows my mind. Hopefully it's in the works. But also coming out from Viavision, not part of the Imprint line, is Doctor Strangelove, and that's coming out on 4K Ultra HD. It is just the 4K Ultra HD, no Blu-ray component, which means it's a direct port of the Sony release from the States, so you'll get all the content that's on the 4K, but you won't get the bonus Blu-ray, which does have a ton of other documentary featurettes and whatnot, but it's still a pretty solid release and can be had at a decent price of around $30 odd. So it's good. But there is one more Imprint release I failed to mention. They're doing another one of those filmmaker focus box sets, and this one's George Peppard, and they're doing 4 films within that box set, and that contains PJ, Pendulum, The Executioner, and Newman's Law. So I'm not really, I don't know George Peppard really well myself in terms of cinema, so I'm kind of curious to check that one out.
It's he's an odd actor to build a box set around.
Yeah.
Most well known for the A-Team.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Maybe Breakfast at Tiffany's, but he's not Audrey Hepburn.
No.
It's
and when you look at the recent ones, we had Jessica Lange, and we had Jennifer Connelly, and we had Gene Hackman. So it does seem sort of like a bit of a odd duck out of more obscure box set. But that said, if they're going to do obscure box sets, let's bring on a film focus on Dick Miller. I would like to see some of his collective work boxed in multiple volumes.
I was going to say,
even if he's only in it for a minute or two.
It'd be like the complete series of the Bill box set.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the prisoner one in the suitcase.
We should just get Umbrella onto it, get Ben onto it, and just call it Dick in a Box.
Oh, I love Dick in a Box. Perfect. There you go. I love it. I can see the marketing campaign now. Just contact the Lonely Island and you're set. No, that sounds terrific. Now, the only other distributor I'll mention that's releases this week is Umbrella Entertainment. And, again, another extraordinary Australian boutique label. And they've actually got a 4K coming out this week of Peter Weir's The Last Wave. Now, this did have a Blu-ray release not all that long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, look, Ben's got it right there. Yeah. I'm super excited to check out this release. It looks amazing. Like, that's obviously the collector's edition. There's the standard that'll go into JB, which I think just has the slip, the Blu-ray and 4K. It does actually come with the Blu-ray because I think the bulk of the special feature content, all the existing stuff, is on the Blu-ray itself. And hopefully there's no issues with region errors that I believe that Razorback had, but Umbrella were fast to fix that, and they've already started sending out the replacement discs. They addressed the problem and they're solving it. Whereas, again, Scream Factory in the States didn't even want to admit that Brotherhood of the Wolf and The People Under the Stairs had issues with their region-free 4Ks being locked to region A, and then refused to supply replacement copies to international customers. So yeah, hats off to Umbrella for solving that. But yeah, that one's out this week. They've also got Hercules Returns making its Blu-ray debut or HD debut. And it's a pretty good release. I mean, there's a bit light on in the special features, which is a shame because I know that it had been a bit of a pet project for what was the name of the Glass Doll Films back in the day, and I thought they'd actually produced a bunch of content, but it turns out I think that was only ever in the planning stages.
Yeah, he was working on it, but
I'm
not too
they
not
probably
too
wanted to race it out
not
to
too fussed
stores in time.
on the cover art for that one.
Yeah, I wasn't too sold on that art myself
I'm
either.
a bit upset
Yeah.
that it's not they didn't actually give it to me. They're supposed to, but it didn't come in my mail from.
In your goodie bag.
I'll
No.
have to send them on an email.
You know what I'd like to see?
Send them a curt email and you go, I need that Hercules return.
Yeah.
I'd love to
ASAP.
see Hercules.
Send it in an Uber.
I'd love to see Hercules return, like 2.0 or something, where it's the same film but with new dubbing.
Oh, that'd be a pretty cool idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've got some people you could potentially put in there. Like you could have like a Sean McAuliffe and Tony Martin and that. I think it'd be pretty damn funny. So yeah, that one's out this week. And then the last one from Umbrella I'll mention is the Pusher trilogy, the Nicholas Winding Refn Pusher trilogy makes its Blu-ray debut locally. The first film had been released through Accent on Blu-ray in the past, but it was just an awful 1080i upscale of the standard def. It looked atrocious, but now Umbrella's done the proper treatment for all three films, and that's coming out, and it's got a nice slipcase to it as well. And that's one I've never actually seen, Pusher 2 or 3. I've only ever seen the first film, so I would like to actually watch all three.
Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all the releases for this week I'll mention.
I've never seen them either, but I had to do some stuff for the Pusher release. And I realized that it's the guy from 2012 and Triangle of Sadness, who I always wondered, like, where did this guy come from? Like the big fat, he's the millionaire character in 2012, and he's also the big fat millionaire character in Triangle of Sadness.
He's the toilet man, the not toilet, compost, the shit guy. From Triangle of Sadness, yeah,
that guy.
Yeah.
I always wondered, where did they find this guy? How does that guy get how does that guy get these parts? And it's because he's in the Pusher trilogy.
I'm curious to check out the extra feature content because I just find that Nicholas Winding Refn is like the most amazing thing to watch on screen because it's equal parts
insufferable,
pretentious, disdain for it, but at the same time, just hilarious. Like he appeared in a documentary recently which just played Tiff on Dario Argento called Panico. Great doco, and he's such a great interview in it because like he everything he says is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the way it's delivered is so pompous and pretentious, and I just love it. Yeah,
dude, you and I watched the documentary about him at your place.
The
behind the scenes of Only God Forgives or something like that.
And
we couldn't believe what we were watching. It was like, who is this?
It was just like, and who puts that out? It's just like, oh my God, like a crisis of conscience being, broadcast wide. It's like, your worst moments documented. And and if anything, it did nothing to improve my appreciation of the film.
In his mind, he was putting out the next Hearts of Darkness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah,
and he thought this will play well. Everyone will think I'm a master at my craft.
And then after having watched that doco and obviously the film, I've actually never seen Neon Demon, which is I think his only other feature since then, and it's been a long time since that. I do want to check it out. I've heard reasonably good things.
Yeah, I did.
That is the big problem with Nicholas Winding Refn is that he is remaking so many films. So no one else can remake them. They're all in the pipeline.
Never to see the light of day, including that long gestated Maniac Cop remake, which has gone from a movie to a HBO series to nothing.
How do you do Maniac Cop as a HBO series? Like,
I have no idea. Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of Bruce Campbell and what's her name had to be doing a lot of extramarital fucking to make that a HBO series.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, every week he's on a different case.
I like the concept. It could be like that Apple series, The After Party, and you could basically take the Maniac Cop and place him in a bunch of different genres throughout different episodes. Maniac Cop in love. Maybe someone can see past the scars and see,
he does,
the man he once was.
Doesn't he have the girlfriend in it? The handicapped cop. What's her name? Sherry.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one that's covering up for his crimes. That she was his girlfriend that he kind of. He does have love interest.
He
needs but what he needs is a canine partner. So we could bring like Cujo into it or something.
Oh man, I love that concept. See, again, it's writing itself. Nicholas, if you're listening, Give us a call. We've got the ideas. We can get this shit moving. And look, we're not bound by the WGA, so we can make this happen. Let's get started. And we'll do non-union actors. It'll be fine. It's an independent production. We'll on-sell it to HBO at a later point.
Yeah.
So we can make this happen. But anyway. Well, gentlemen, that's all I've got for you this week. No news as such. I'll save that for a quieter week. But hope you're...
Take it out.
Yeah, well, I got nothing. I'm just like, hope you have a good one, gentlemen. Oh, what is that? So the topic for this episode, was it twins movies?
Well, yeah, look, it's I mean, we're still
Loose topic?
Yeah, it's twin movies as in movies that are similar to each other, like Volcano, Dante's Peak. They're called twin movies. Right?
Okay,
But
right,
then,
okay.
As people listening know that as we go through the show, we're talking about twins in movies. It's a bit of a loose twin theme.
I'm just waiting
In lieu
for
of an
Ben
interview.
to use it as a means to talk about the made-for-TV action thriller Twin Sisters.
Well, we've done it now.
I do have 2 copies of. And
I think everybody does. I've got 2 copies too. Why?
Let me let me take care of business. Until next time, stay physical.
Stay physical.